There's the whistle for half-time, and it's Shelbourne 0, Deportivo La Coruña 0 at Attack Lansdowne Road. 24,000 fans in here. There's confirmation of the situation at half-time. Shells 0, Deportivo 0. We'll have analysis from Pat, from Roddy and from Peter right after this break.
And you're very welcome back to Lansdowne Road. So it's Shelbourne 0, Deportivo La Coruña 0. A very interesting first half. And Roddy, early on, Shelbourne playing some nice football, but I think the general feeling is here in studio between the two of you that they're maybe hitting a few too many long balls.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what system they're playing. They lined up, obviously, to frustrate Deportivo. Well, in possession of the ball, at the back, they're not comfortable. When they get 3 or 4 passes together, they're looking for them to, you know, maybe play it through the middle of the park where Shelbourne are winning possession when they need to win it, and they're holding possession well. I feel they're playing too many long balls. Now, if you have a player up front on his own that's going to make every ball stick, it's fantastic. If you have the alternative for a counter-attack, where you have a player with lightning speed that's going to time he's running, get in behind him, that long ball will pay. I think it's a bad play, and I think, you know, Glenn Fitzpatrick's having a bad day, and, you know, no disrespect, it can happen to any player. I feel after 15 minutes, you know, when the game settles down, you know, certain players aren't respond to the situation. I would have replaced Glenn after 15 minutes because, you know, in the phase of play, he's been probably their best player because every possession that's been presented to him, pardon me, has broken down. So, in the middle towards Shelbourne, on top in possession, winning possession back well. I just feel the back four are too rushed. They don't have a plan. When they get 3 or 4 passes together, they're knocking it long, it's coming back, and, you know, maybe you could put Jason Bourne, who's been sacrificed on the right, and bring on young Crawley that has played on the right, or you know, the other kid on the right, what's his name there?
Joseph Endo, I think, will come on.
Yeah, Crawley on the right, or
front.
Jerry McCarthy can play on the right, because Jason has been sacrificed defensively, because their problems for us is right down our right.
Pat, your assessment of the first half?
I'd like to defend Fitzpatrick a little bit. People talk about, I think Shelbourne have played very, very, very well. Their only target was to get to half-time without conceding a goal. They've created the best chance of the match in the last minutes with Jason Byrne. Fantastic crossing from Heary to pick out Byrne. Byrne missed the target on his wrong side. Now, the reason why Fitzpatrick is isolated is because of the system. Now, what I would be saying to Glenn is, instead of helping the ball on, where I don't feel that Cahill and Byrne, even though they've got pace, are going to get in behind the defence from a flick on, I think he should be looking to put the ball backwards into the middle of the park. Because I think that in Houlihan and Moore, you've got 2 of the most creative forces there. I think Cahill's having a super game. And I think Byrne with Valeron is doing very, very, very well. And you've got to look at the respective strengths. Isn't it fantastically talking about an Irish team playing at home against European Cup semi-finalists, and we're disappointed?
Yeah.
And it's not that easy when you play. The reason they're playing long balls is they cannot take risks every single time to put the ball into Moore and Houlihan's feet, because they get tired. And sometimes you have to sacrifice possession to not concede a goal.
And we must keep in mind the perceived gulf in class. We're going to have a look at some of the incidents from that first half, Roddy. First of all, there was an early bit of pressure from Shelbourne, and Alan Moore getting the ball here trapped under his feet. But the opportunities were being created, just not taken in the early stages.
There are chances there, Peter. You know, they've given him respect. That's one there. Now, he digs that out on his left peg, and we know he has a strike on him. That could be a chance. You know, it's a ricochet there, but that can be a chance. Just a quick touch, just beyond that, a quick touch, and it's a chance, and we know he can strike the target. You know, when they get down that area, the first time in the game that they've really taken the initiative, and the first time a fullback has gone beyond his midfield, was for the cross from Owen Heary, and, you know, a better connection from Jason Bourne. It was a goal. But, you know, as I say, and Pat, I'll disagree with you on that one, you know, young Fitzpatrick is trying to hold the ball up. This is what his intention is. It's not happening. If it doesn't happen, it's not going to change. He's having a bad night, Pat. You can't wait around. It's down to minutes in these games. You cannot wait to give away possession.
Okay, Roddy.
Breaks and it's in the
well,
back
we'll see what Pat Fenlon does at half-time, and if he makes a change, or whether he gives it a little bit more time. But in the meantime, I want to have a look at this clash between Molina and Alan Moore. Pat, you felt pretty strongly that Shelbourne should have got a free kick here.
I thought it was a super ball from Houlihan, and I think the goalkeeper has really not been very, very brave in that situation. He's come back from a serious illness. He had testicular cancer, which is obviously a very serious disease. And, you know, when you've had that, because I don't know myself, people in my family have had it, the last place you want to get someone charging at you is in that type of area. I felt that he was I thought the keeper last week, Hadjic Split, I thought he had a super game. I think he was a weakness. I don't think he was up for the game. And I feel that Pandiani up front, we've talked about Fitzpatrick. I think he's having a shocking game. I think that Luque on the left-hand side has done ever so well. Yeah. And given Heary, who's a really great competitor, he's got to be careful now on the yellow card. He's given him a hard time. But every time the ball's come into the box, what Pat Fennell will be delighted with is the way that Harris and Rodgers have defended the crosses. And Pandiani hasn't been a feature, hasn't featured in the game at all. And Shelbourne will be delighted. Because whatever we say, and it's great here looking at the game in the studio, because we never make a mistake, but to be 0-0 against Deportivo, that ain't bad.
Okay, let's have a look, because Deportivo, as Pat was saying, they have posed quite a few threats, particularly down the left-hand side from Luque, but this wasn't Luque, but a chance swung in from the left-hand side, which almost threatened the Shells goal.
Yeah, it was a good defensive ahead of that one.
Okay, we just talked about Owen Heary's yellow card. We had 2 yellow card incidents in that first half. The first was for a foul on Wes Hoolahan. Wes Hoolahan has been brilliant in my humble estimation. What was your opinion of his performance as we look at this incident here?
Courage. I mean, he's shown the appetite to win the ball, not give the free kick away in a dangerous area. And look at the way he wants to take the free kick very, very quickly. He's so bright, and he is someone that can open up a door. He's got the technical ability to make a pass that can really count.
Any complaints about Owen Heary's yellow?
Absolute banker of a yellow card. Owen was fortunate. I think the referee's been decent to Shelbourne. And I think earlier in the half that he body-checked Luque and didn't get the yellow card. And if he had have done that early in the game, he wouldn't be making tackles like that.
OK, we're just going to have a look at one more incident from that first half, Roddy. And this was a reasonable opportunity for Jason Byrne. I think it came from an Owen Heary cross.
Well, it's the first time I say in the game that Owen has taken the initiative. He's just gone beyond his midfield there. A little slip by the left back. Excellent delivery. And Jason just got there a touch too early. I mean, he connected that one and it's a goal. If that hits the target, that's back in the net stuff. And, you know, we're sitting here talking about a 0-0 achievement. I feel if they take the initiative, if they build the play up and wait for Moore's runs from midfield, because they're not going to open them up. Fitzpatrick doesn't have the pace. If they build up, take the play gradually forward, wait for Alan Moore's a very clever man, and they get Wes Hoolahan to open them up, as Pat says, can open them up, I think that's their best chance. But, you know, I'm disappointed they're not in the lead. I mean, before the game we say, you know, if they get a 0-0, it'd be a fantastic result. But you've got to look at what we've seen in 45 minutes. Shelbourne were a little bit more patient in the middle third and a little bit more inventiveness, you know, from the back four, not to just lump long balls, because they're just giving away possession every time. I think they're doing a great shout. But they've shown a minute or two before half-time that they can go up another couple of gears. OK, well, hopefully we'll have a little bit more time to talk on the other side of the break. We're going to take a short commercial, and then we'll be back with you at Lansdowne Road. It's Shells 0, Deportivo La Coruña 0. Well, Shelbourne are back out on the pitch for the second half of this Champions League third round qualifier, first leg here at Lansdowne Road. The crowd certainly pretty pleased with that first half performance by Shells. And it's seconds out, round 2 here in the studio. Pat, what has Pat Devlin decided to do, you think, at half-time? What were his options?
Well, you know, Pat Fennell would have really reinforced to his players how important it is not to concede that away goal. If you go over there, even with a 0-0, you know, it's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, what does he do? Does he stick or does he bust? 0-0 is not a disastrous result. The more he gambles, the more holes that he leaves, the more that Valeron and Luque and Victor can exploit that. I think the goalkeeper coming off could be significant as well, because I think Irureta would like to get Pandiani off. And, you know, they've got Ruben Castro, who they normally bring on to replace him. He's very, very quick. I think he would cause more problems. But the fact they've already had a substitution with the goalkeeper, it might restrict that option. And I think that they'll be very, very satisfied. And if we get to the last 15 minutes with no score, they'll settle for that, and Shells will get a chance, and they have to take it.
And Taoiseach Bertie Ahern enjoying the spectacle at Lansdowne Road, and just a few moments ago, of course, you saw Pat Fennell coming back out on pitch. We're getting ready now for the second half. Let's rejoin our commentary team of Paul Doolan and Darragh Maloney.